Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, BC Clark.
Hi, my name is BC Clark, and my show is The Business Connection. My next guest is Alexis Lawson. Alexis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, yes, and so tell us a little bit about Alexis, and then let's talk a little bit about business, okay?
Okay, for sure.
All right, great.
Born and raised here in Omaha, Nebraska, and started as an entrepreneur in 2020 with Detox Sober Lounge. So my start to life was a little rough. It was a little rough, and I had addiction and incarceration throughout my youth and young adult life.
Okay.
Got sober in 2017 this time around, and just start taking a turn for the better and finding my purpose, tapping into why am I here?
Why am I here?
Yeah, how can I do better?
Let me answer that why, right?
Why, yes.
Because you do get to that point in your life, right? And you're like, okay, you know, what? You know, if you've done a lot of stuff, and we all make mistakes, I mean, hey, but without those mistakes, we wouldn't learn.
Facts.
And we wouldn't grow. So those things are put in motion for us, whether we know it or not. We'll make mistakes, but we will learn from them, and we will grow from them.
True.
Because if you plant a seed and nothing happens, it's just there. Right?
Yeah.
So it has to go through some weather so that it can be stronger the next time around.
That's so true.
But I know that you started Sober Detox Lounge because your whole heart was to give back and to show people that they can get sober and things like that. Talk a little bit about that for me.
Absolutely. So I came up with the idea for Detox Sober Lounge in 2019. I was leaving a 12-step meeting, and I was just like, we need something to do. You know, I was very new in recovery, and I didn't want to go to a bar to play darts or play pool and have the loud music because that's triggering for a lot of us when we first get sober. So I was like, we need a sober bar. You know, I want to have I love the bars and I love the clubs when I was using. So I wanted that lifestyle still. I wanted to have the party scene.
Yeah.
You know, the poetry, the comedy, just with no alcohol.
With no alcohol and no drugs. Yeah, because you're clean. And you know, I find that the best way to stay that way is to not be involved in those types of activities that are doing that, but to create, you know, the Detox Sober Lounge. And there was a lot of people that were in your shame too, saying, oh, you know, if I could just, I like that atmosphere because you can meet people and you can grow, but I can't go there because I'll get back into the things I did. So by you creating that, look what the impact you had, because I came once and it was great. That's when I found out about the non-alcoholic drinks.
The mocktails.
The mocktails, yeah. I thought that was amazing. I was like, you know, this is awesome, because people can learn that they don't have to be doing drugs and drinking just to have fun.
Facts.
You know.
That's so true.
And so, yeah, so that was amazing. So how was that process of starting that business and getting that going?
Oh, man. So I was like a little, they say entrepreneurs were kind of crazy, right? and I feel like I was. I literally, I came up with the idea, and I assumed that it was just mine, and I started doing research to try to tap into it, and found out that there were 6 more. There was like 1 in Canada and 5 in the United States.
Wow.
So instead of being bummed out about it, I took it to my advantage and said, well, let me connect with these sober bars and see how they did it.
Yeah.
So I flew to Austin, Texas.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I flew out there to Texas, and I met another one called, he's the owner of Sands Bar. And I met him. He said, I started with $600 doing pop-ups. So I was like, well, I could do that. I got $600. So
I can do some pop-ups.
yeah, I did my first pop-up in 2020.
Wow.
And it was a great turnout, a great time for everyone. And it pretty much proved that it was a concept that people really wanted, and we need it here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes.
So I continued to do pop-ups. I got a brick and mortar in 2021. That was the ultimate goal. And learned a lot of business
Yeah.
mistakes. We no longer have that space, but we still do pop-up events.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that's good because I think people need to understand. I always say, research the industry, find out what's out there. Because if you haven't done something like this before, or whatever the industry might be you're trying to go into, always gather some information so you have some information that where you can make informed decisions. And so to know that you went to Texas and to a place that was doing that thing and got that information, that was huge.
Yes.
Because that puts you further than trying to struggle through and make it happen yourself
Yes.
without knowing that there was already some even happening.
Yes.
Right? So
Absolutely.
and I think that those are tips for people who are starting businesses. Always research that industry and try and come up with different things that you can do. And maybe even though you're in a different state or whatever, and you may not be able to go there, but you can always make a call. You can, kind of look at their website and see what they're doing or how they've done it. So you have some updated information getting started.
Yes.
You know.
So we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Yep.
You don't have to.
No.
I learned that as a program a long time ago. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If there's even a half bunch of code that you can use it. So then you still do your pop-ups and things like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But then you realize that you had so much information and you have some skills and talent and you want to prevent people from going back into that addictive type life.
Absolutely.
So you created an LLC called Alexis Speaks.
Yep, Alexis
I love
Lawson
it.
Speaks. So that LLC came about because I've been speaking for years. I got my start in the 12-step meetings. People would invite me to come tell my story. And then I also go into treatment centers in like Douglas County Detox.
That's so good.
And help and inspire adults and people. And this past year, I said, I want to turn it into a paid business.
Yeah.
People get paid to speak.
They
and I
do,
wanna-
all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just was doing it because that's what we call service work and helping and giving back.
For that industry, okay?
Yes.
However, when you start a business,
Yes.
then you have to look at the monetary
Yes.
part of it.
And I needed to learn how to do that. So I joined an academy who's now teaching me how to get paid for speaking.
For speaking.
And so now, and I've pivoted actually. So I still speak in different audiences with adults, but I also realized that as a youth, I was troubled. I was in and out of DCYC. I was truant. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. Start smoking and drinking at the age of 12, weed and alcohol.
Yeah, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. I mean, we don't have enough people out there speaking. We don't have enough parents that are involved.
Facts. So that's where I want to come in and start working with the youth.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think that's
want to work
amazing.
get with these youth and try and help change their patterns and their behaviors, so they don't get as far as I went.
Yeah.
Into my life with the addiction and incarceration.
And I think it's good to have show them a different perspective,
Yes.
and to show them someone who have been there, who have done that, who have came out of it, and now wants to help. And you started a new LLC called Alexis Lawson Speaks.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So I've been speaking for years. In my 12-step program, we call that service work. We share our experience, strength, and hope in the meetings to help others heal from addiction and recovery. And then we're also sometimes offered to go into treatment centers, or I've been speaking in treatment centers in Douglas County Detox, stuff like that. So I've been doing it for free for years. But this past year, I decided to figure out how I can start speaking professionally and get paid for it.
Yes.
So I joined an academy, and they're teaching me how to go and make it a business. So that's where the Alexis Lawson Speaks came from. So I can start getting paid speaking gigs. And so far, I've gotten 3 since I started.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and then tell me, what are some of the topics? Are you going in? Are you telling your story? Because that's a story that is something all by itself, right? And then, are they asking you to speak on particular content?
So yeah, I'm still crafting a lot of that content because I've just been speaking for free for years.
Yeah.
So what I feel like most people are wanting is resilience, recovery, also purpose. I love talking about purpose and worth and value.
Yeah.
Because as a youth, I didn't feel that purpose, worth, value, and then throughout my young adult life, I didn't feel that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had any of that.
Yeah.
So, and now to find that and step into that is like helping me create a vision, set goals, knowing that I'm worthy and I can do more. So I talk a lot about that, especially when I'm working with the youth.
Yeah, I think that's so important because youth, it's such a cruel world today, and of course, social media doesn't make it any better, and they don't have the stamina, it seems, in a lot of instances, to just let those words fly off of them. They tend to harbor the negative
Absolutely.
words, and that causes them to spin out and do a lot of other things that they don't really need to do.
Yeah.
And suicide is like the number one. So to have you speak and talk about how you felt and why you didn't feel like you were esteemed or why you didn't feel like you had, worth and things like that, it's going to help them stop and ask themselves, would you agree?
Absolutely.
I think that this is more than, and you probably haven't got the feeling of what you're actually doing yet, as deep as other people are seeing what you're doing and actually being able to engulf what you're doing. I think that as you go, you'll get stronger. You'll be able to really deliver those messages with the heart and the feeling that people will be able to relate, and you'll find people crying in your audiences, because when you can feel someone's inner heart because they've gone through something, there's pain, there's trauma and all that, and when that comes out in your delivery, that's when people begin to really feel it.
Yeah.
So keep speaking, because that's what's happening right now.
Thank you.
You may not know it, so just keep on and laying your real feelings into what happened, because what you went through was traumatic. And if you didn't have the family support, and talk about that, because family support is important, especially when you're living an addictive life. If there's no support, there's no one that you want to do anything good for.
Facts. True.
Right?
True. Yeah, I'm super blessed that I have this family that I have. They supported me through my addiction, through a lot of my craziness, my incarceration, my grandparents, my mom. They were always there for me.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't know exactly how to be there for me, they did do a lot of enabling. They didn't know no better. But they tried their best, and they loved me throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
And I always knew that I had them to fall back on. So when I came out, one of my motivators was them. I wanted to make my family proud.
That's so good. That's so good. I could cry right now.
Yeah. I want
to. But anyway, I think that's it, because when you don't have someone that you can say, I want to make them proud, I want to do this for them, not only for myself, but I want to do it for them. I want to show them that I can do it.
Yes.
Because when people who support you have been following you for a long time, and it's traumatic for them, whether you know it or not, it's just as traumatic for them as it is for you. The pain is just as great for them as it is for you.
Oh, yeah.
And so they go through everything that you go through.
Absolutely.
And because even if it's not like addiction to drugs or alcohol or anything like that, there's life abuse.
Yeah.
That's addictive for a lot of people. And a lot of people are abused, right? And so if they don't have family support to kind of push them and help them through that, they stay abused, and they allow abuse to continue to happen to them. And so to me, it's addictive to be abused. I may be wrong. If there's another word, I'm not trying to, I don't know everything because I'm not in that industry. But it appears to me that where addiction is a sense of abuse, I think being physically or sexually or even verbally abused is an addiction if you allow it to continue to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I think that it's important that we have those outlets that can come around us, and say, we believe in you. You can do this. You got this. What do you need me to do?
Absolutely.
And then that way you have some crutches to stand on as you're walking through this journey.
Yes.
And that's to me so important.
Yeah, support system. It is and that's one of the things that I do talk on is your support system.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have the support system that I have. Not only while I was in my addiction, but when I came out on the other side, I started finding healthier people to hang out with.
Yeah.
And I realized really quick that I call it circle of influence,
Yeah, it
wasn't
is.
positive, They're either influencing you to go backwards or forward. You know, so we have to do an inventory
Yes.
of the people we have around us.
I love that word.
You know,
I
we
love
do.
that word.
And we
Yes.
and we're continually growing. So sometimes we outgrow people.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It's just
No.
not for you in the season that you're in. You know, they
Right.
serve their season. And so
Yeah.
I'm constantly evaluating my support system because I need people that's gonna push me, that's
Yeah,
not gonna
hold you up.
sugarcoat, that's not only gonna hold me up, but it's gonna hold me accountable
Yes.
as well. I don't need
That's
nobody
right.
egging me on for
No.
for the old version of me. No.
No.
So all of that's important. You
It's
know, you
very
got the
important.
love, the accountability, the intentionality. We show up for each other. All of that's important.
It's very important. And it's good that you recognize that you have to watch your sphere of influence, because there are certain times that people that may be around you, and when they first come around, they want you, but then they get jealous, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you won't know it because they have a face, and the face is telling you that, oh, you know, but then behind your back, they're saying things, and you don't need that. And eventually it comes out, but you know, you have to, like you said, monitor and inventory the people that are around you. What are they saying?
Yes.
Not only to me, but about me.
Yes.
Okay?
That's true.
Because that's important. I mean, even in daily life, you have to continue to measure, or I always say, take temperature on the people that are around you.
Yes.
Because if those people are not feeling and seeing the way you do, they have to go.
Absolutely.
So I always ask for discernment, Lord, how is this person?
Yeah.
And it takes a long time for people to get into my circle.
Yeah.
Because I'm inventory. I watch people, I inventory, and I have discernment.
Yep.
You know, the Holy
Same.
Spirit says, you need to stay away from that person.
Yep. I was gonna say that.
You know, so you have to be aware and alert of your spirit as well as the one within you. Right?
Absolutely.
And you should be aware of what they're doing when they're not around you.
Absolutely. And I've been blessed with that discernment as well, intuition, I guess you can call it. To where I can feel someone's energy, you know, and it may not be what they're doing or saying. It's just a sense of this don't feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
You know, and you need to listen to that.
That's right.
Because sometimes you just keep it ignoring it. And next, you know, you find yourself in a situation and you're like, I should have listened a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. And I think the other thing too, Alexis, is that, you know, we want to see the good in everybody.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we go too far with trying to see the good, you know, until sometimes, you know, but I always say that, you know, that inner spirit always helps you out.
I like to say we turn the red flags pink.
Yeah. Yeah.
The red flags coming everywhere, but you're like, oh, that's pink.
Pink, yeah.
That's not red, really.
But we have to realize, you know what? When that flag turns, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Something's happening. And let's face it, everyone is not there to go through the whole journey with you.
Facts.
Some of them are there to maybe go through this season of the journey.
Facts.
Because I realize that in my own personal life. There are people that I've been, you know, on the journey with me for a long time. And recently, some of those people have gotten off. And, you know, I was like, oh, why? And I read something, scripture said, sometimes he moves people.
Yeah.
Because they're not able to go to the next journey
Where you're
with
headed.
you.
Yep.
And so now I'm like, okay. So when people slide off, I'm like, okay, I know what this is. Because he slides someone in to go with you for the next journey.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
and we have to be conscious of that. You know, because you can say, oh, you know, that was my best friend, da da da, but the inner spirit knows best.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we're paying attention to those types of things.
That's so true.
You know, because sometimes they can take you back, and you don't want to do that.
No.
You know, it's nothing. You know what? Your arms are not designed to reach back.
Ah, that's good. I like that. They're not.
They're designed to keep moving forward. And so when we start doing that, that causes us to lean in the wrong direction.
Yes, that is so true.
You know?
That is so true.
So I'm not just throwing out these wisdom nuggets for you, but I'm just trying to tell you.
No, that's
you know?
good. That's real good. I make sure I pray and every day, and when I pray, that God open doors that needs to be open for me.
And thank Him ahead
doors.
of time. Lord, thank you for these open opportunities that you're providing for me.
good.
Thank you, Lord God, that, you know, the door that was closed because I didn't understand, thank you that it's open now in Jesus' name. I mean, you know,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
you know, don't let me get to preaching, but anyway, you know.
Take us to church.
Yeah. I think that we have to remember that we don't thank Him once it's done. We have to thank Him before it happens.
Absolutely. And
Because that's what we're believing for. We're right?
Absolutely.
I mean, all things are possible through him who strengthens us, right? He is our shepherd, we shall not want, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, we need to make sure that we're saying that, you know, he supplies all our needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. You say that every day, and I am blessed. I am blessed.
I am blessed.
I am provided for.
Abundant. I live in abundance.
I live in invisible abundance in Jesus. So we have things that we can say that we feel and we know and it's true. Because the one thing about it is that there's nothing that we've read in that big #1 best-selling book that is untrue. And if we just stay true to that, we'll get wherever we're going.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your next program? And tell me what's going on and how you're connecting with the community and other organizations to provide training for them and,
Absolutely. So through Alexis Lawson Speaks, I am doing my program that I call LIT, Life, Identity, Training, and Transformation.
I love that. LIT, L-I-T-T.
Yep, LIT.
Life, Identity,
Training, and Transformation.
And transformation.
Yes, where I'm helping youth. Thank you, the small claps.
Yeah.
So it's to help youth find out who they are. That's the identity piece, and it's so important because I feel like once a youth finds out who they are and can make a vision for themselves so they know where they're going, then they start to change their behaviors. They set goals and start to act accordingly. Oftentimes, like from when I was a youth, I was lost. I didn't know who I was, didn't know where I was going, so I was just running. I call it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I was willy-nilly doing everything, drugs, alcohol,
because you don't know where you're going,
no.
And you don't stop to think because you're young. You don't stop to think and say, where am I going? Who am I?
Nope.
Why am I here?
Nope. And no one asked me, and no one came and said, "Hey, this is who you are. This is where you should. Let's talk about where you want to go."
They never asked.
They just you're bad. You're this. You're that. I was.
They gave you names that you wore.
Yes, and I wore them well. Call me bad. I will show you bad. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. If we can't speak negative and expect positive to happen.
Absolutely not.
And I think that sometimes even, some of the people who are in that industry forget.
Absolutely.
And they continue to use those negative terms. And how you expect that child to change their perception of themselves if you're still telling them negative things?
Yep. Yeah. And it wasn't healthy for me.
No.
And I didn't have a healthy life to show for it because of that.
Yeah.
So my goal is to empower these youth.
Yes.
To have them thinking differently.
I think that's
to
so
start
good.
to even plan, youth are young, so what's your 1-year plan? And then I have a framework that I utilize. Do that. It's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me 5 sentences about where you see yourself for a year. And then out of that, we pull 4 SMART goals. And out of those, we find 3 strengths or skill sets or abilities that you already have within you that's going to help you get to those goals that we need to hone in, cultivate, make sure we're focusing on. And then the 2 is find 2 blockers, 2 habits, 2 behaviors, 2 people, whatever it is that's going to block you from getting to that goal.
Back onto that.
And then 1 is 1 support system, 1 support person, accountability, someone you could put into a support system to help you get to that goal.
Get to that goal.
So we have them map that out, and that's what we utilize to help them get through however long the workshop is.
That is so good. And you tailor the program according to what the organizations want or need.
Where I find out what their pain points are with the youth. Drugs, alcohol, truancy. Some kids are just acting out at home. Behaviors. Yeah, so that's what so the program is lots of 14 different areas that we cover.
Okay.
So I'll find which areas meet that organization's needs, and that's the ones we focus on. So it can be a 1-day workshop, a 3-day, a 6-week, a 24-week. I have it all the way up to long-term partnerships.
That is amazing.
Yes.
And I think that what you've already done, there's talk out there that you're doing such a good job and people are listening. And I think that's important. And sometimes you have to talk to the adults first so they can get to the kids. Are you trying
Facts.
that?
Facts. Yes.
You know, because if they're not convinced, they are not going to convince the kids.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to go to them, have them come in and sit in on sessions so they can see how they're impacted, because they got trauma and pain they ain't talked about.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
And so by having them do that, then they become like one of your biggest, you know, your advocates for the program. You know,
Yes.
I mean, just in listening and hearing what you were talk about, I've been already an advocate, you know, for the program. I'm like, yeah, this is needed, you know.
Thank you.
So I think that it's good that what you're doing, and it's so relevant to today. You know, we need to save our kids. We have to save our kids, and a lot of things are not working, you know.
Yes.
So we need to come down to I call it the nitty gritty, the bare bones of what the problem is,
Yes.
and start feeding that trauma back to reality.
Facts.
That's what we have to do.
Facts.
And the pain that they're feeling, and the reason why people don't let them talk. They need to talk.
Absolutely.
They have to talk. You know, don't say, "Oh, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about."
was-
Let them talk.
Yes.
You know, and that's why I like it that you've created opportunities for them to be able to speak and say
Absolutely.
what's on their heart, say how they feel.
Yep.
You know, no one gave you that opportunity,
Yeah.
but you can give these kids that opportunity,
Absolutely.
and that's what's so awesome about what you're doing.
Thank
you know, so just say right now, you can look in the camera and tell people what, you know, we got a minute left. Just what, you know, your heart and how you can impact these kids. And as a business owner, just talk.
Okay, absolutely. So what you said was really key. We have to validate, you know, these kids. I didn't feel validated as a youth, so validate them, and that's all we can do is just once we
Yeah.
validate them.
Yeah.
You know, then it helps empower. It empowers them.
Yeah.
You know, give them a sense of
be better.
empowerment,
I
to
think
be
the other
better.
thing too is that make sure that you're putting into them positiveness. You know, tell them how great they are. And
Absolutely.
what the skills that they have. You know, you have a great skill. You have great talent.
Thank
I
you.
think that if we start talking to kids, don't say, "Oh, they so bad." No, no. You know what? They're challenged, right? Probably because they're bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times that's it.
And misunderstood.
And misunderstood.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes people see them coming, and because of their hair or what they're wearing, they become a bad child, or they're on drugs. And you don't even know this kid.
Yeah.
You know, so our talk right now, and thank you for being with us on the show today, but it's that we have to capture and take care of our kids. So from the Business Connection, Alexis Lawson Speaks, we kind of charge you to go out and be positive to our youth, get them some help if you know they need it, and look for resources that they can go to so that they can become the person that they've been called to be.
Absolutely.
So as I say, thank you for joining us. This is Alexis Lawson with Alexis Lawson Speaks. This is the Business Connection, and I'm glad to have you here, and we'll see you the next time. Keep watching.